Hi everyone, let's go over my brand new medium time frame and low time frame bullish Elliott Wave scenarios on Bitcoin. Starting with the first medium time frame bullish scenario where we're looking for a couple of 1, 2s, 3, 4, 5 in blue, where now we're working on this blue wave 5. Now in this blue wave 4, we're then looking for this triangle structure that retraces to the 0.236, which is a common target for a wave 4 taken from the low to the high of this wave 3. What is also nice is that the end of this wave 4 came after this vertical 1-to-1 line, and that is a fib time taken from the high to the low to the high here, comparing the time of wave 2 with the time of wave 4. And most commonly in an impulse, wave 4 takes more time to form than wave 2, and that is exactly what we have here, which is what we like to see. In this scenario, we are then working on this wave 5 to the upside, and the target area for your wave 5 is over here between 38.5 and 43k, where if we look at some of the resistance areas, we're currently ranging inside this white resistance area, right, between 39.3, 39.7. Just above price, we have 40.3k to 40.5k as another interesting resistance area, including a monthly naked point of control over there as well, which is the purple line at 4400. And then above, we have the golden target area in confluence with the 0.618 at 43k, with the box between 49.9 and 43.6k. Now, after this wave 5 to the upside in blue, we are then looking for another retracement in the green wave 4 as we are then ending green wave 3. After a corrective structure in green 4, we are then looking for another push to the upside in the green wave 5. Now, if we zoom in to this structure over here, a scenario that would support looking for the blue wave 5, then we have to look for this impulse over here. So this is the end of your blue wave 4. We are looking for blue wave 5 to the upside. And here I then have an impulse to the upside starting with a double 1, 2 in yellow and then in white. Wave 1, 5 wave structure over here, corrective structure in 2, double zigzag, another 1, another 2, and now we're working on this wave 3, which either is already finished, the yellow wave 3, or if price keeps moving to the upside, then we can move this wave 3 to the upside as well, because for this yellow wave 4, preferably we're going to see a corrective structure that is similar in time, or maybe longer in time, right, preferably, than this yellow wave 2. So as long as we get short ranges to the upside, I'll be moving this wave 3 to the upside as well. Now, what is important in this scenario is that this yellow wave 4 is not going to retrace down to this yellow line here, because we don't want to see overlap between the high of yellow 1 and the low of yellow 4. Because if we are looking to end the blue wave 5, then here we have an impulse, but if we get overlap, we have to think about a diagonal structure, but an ending diagonal to finish wave 5 should consist of zigzags, meaning an ABC 535 in wave 1, zigzag in 2, etc., right? But here we're counting an impulse, another zigzag. So a zigzag is not preferred, and therefore preferably also this wave 4 in yellow is not going to touch this line, and this line is sitting at 38.4k. Now, if we go to the micro, if we are already thinking about potentially a wave 4 here, right, in yellow, then this would be the target area for the yellow wave 4 between the 0.236 and the 382, which is between the 39k and 38.5k. And inside this area, we do have some good support, which is the daily naked point of control of yesterday here at 38.8k. So that would be a level that I'm keeping my eye on. Clear invalidation, right? 38.4k. We don't want to see the overlap. And the 0.146 is a rare target for a wave 4. So again, if price just keeps pushing, these fibs will move to the upside as well as this wave 3 will move to the upside, and therefore 4 to the upside as well. And then eventually we want to see a yellow 4 quite similar in time with this yellow wave 2 over here. Now, as we are talking about the micro, I already want to say here, right, we have a double top on the micro. The 886 has been hit twice, increasing the probabilities that whatever happens over here, we're going to take the double top at least once more. If we then zoom out again and go to the second scenario on the medium time frame, then we are also looking for still some moves to the upside, but now the structure is a little bit different because of this wave 4. In the previous scenario, wave 4 ended over here after then a triangle structure, but here we're thinking about a wave 4 being a running flat in an ABC, where after this wave 4, you're looking for 5 to the upside. Now a running flat preferably has wave B going above your wave A. It's not a requirement, but it's something that you would like to see. This high over here in an ABC hit the 0.9 Fibonacci taken from the high to the low of A, which is less common for a running flat. Running flat is rare in general, but for a running flat, preferably you'd actually take the high of A. Not the case here, but this is your wave C. Wave C not taking the low of A, running flat. Now what is more important here is that the low and the end of this wave 4 here is before the 1-to-1 fib time, meaning now this wave 4 is shorter in time than this wave 2, which is less common, right? Lowering the probabilities of this particular scenario. Now if we look at the low time frame structure to the upside here to finish the blue wave 5, then we have to look for this diagonal. And here we then have the low of 4 is now here. We have a zigzag in wave 1, right? 2, you're going to be looking for another zigzag in 3, 4, and eventually a wave 5 to the upside. Now in this scenario, this wave 3 is longer than this wave 1. However, the newest diagonal rules of Elliott Wave International say that a wave 3 can be longer than a wave 1 and still be a contracting diagonal. It also states that wave 4 does not have to have overlap with wave 1 in a diagonal. So the fact that we hit this 1-to-1 does not invalidate this diagonal structure in a wave 1, 2, and then a 3, 4, and eventually looking for a wave 5. So it is something that we still have to keep in mind, but mainly because of this wave 4, which has lower probabilities on the medium time frame, this scenario here automatically also has some lower probabilities. Of course, here we are then looking for a 5-wave structure, correction, another 5-wave structure in this wave 1, which is possible. Counting this as a 5-waver here is very difficult, to be honest. Then we have a wave 2 here, and then we're looking for another A, B, and a wave C to the upside to then finish 3, 4, 5. If we then zoom out once more for the final time to look at the final medium time frame bullish scenario, then here we are still working on the white count. So we have a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then in white 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inside white 3 you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and now we're working on this wave 5. What lowers the probabilities here is the length in time and the size of this wave 5. Look at 1, look at 2, look at 3, look at 4, and then look at your wave 5, right? You can see just by looking at the impulse to the upside that this wave 5 is quite out of context compared to 1, 2, 3 and wave 4, which lowers the probabilities for this particular scenario. There is 2 scenarios I have on the lower time frame for this particular scenario then. The first one, let me put a circle here to identify the low of 4. The first one is that we then have an ending diagonal once again, right? We have over here wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, 5. Same rules apply, the newest rules. Wave 3 can be longer than wave 1. That is not the problem. The main issue here is that we have a truncated wave 1 and 2, which means wave 1 is an ABC zigzag, but wave C did not take the low or the high of wave A. By far most common is a wave A, wave B, wave C, where C takes the high of A. A truncated zigzag is an ABC where wave C does not take the high of wave A and already returns to the downside in this case, which is incredibly rare. And it didn't happen once, it happened twice. This wave C is lower than the beginning over here, right? Than your wave A. So A, B, C. C is short, didn't take the high. And then in wave 2, we have an ABC where again wave C did not take the low of wave A, really lowering the probabilities of this scenario, as it is incredibly rare to have truncated scenarios. And in this scenario, we have the same problem. But now wave 3 is already in, right? That's the main difference. Here we're working on wave 3, right? And in this scenario, wave 3 is already in. Then we have 4. Then we look for 5 to the upside, invalidation 40.3k. But here we also have, again, the same 1 and 2 being truncated. KW, right? That's not what we like to see. Besides, by the way, the structure of this diagonal is very ugly, but it's just a truncated wave Cs that really lower the probabilities of this particular scenario. So if we then finally look at the probabilities of these scenarios, then currently I would rank these scenarios as follows. First, scenario number 3, which is the one that I started the video with, where we are looking for a triangle 4, now working on a wave 5 to finish green 3, then green 4, and then a green 5 to the upside, where the low time frame count is going to be the impulse as explained earlier in the video. The second over here is scenario number 1, which it was the second scenario shown in the video, running flat in wave 4, right? Wave 4 being shorter in time than wave 2, however. And then in this wave 5, we are looking for an ending diagonal structure, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, eventually another push in wave 5. And then we're going to move towards the downside for a bigger correction in then your wave 4, which also can be a very horizontal correction, by the way. It can be very shallow, right? It doesn't have to be deep. And then finally, the lowest probability scenario at the moment is the one for me that I showed at the end, where we're working on the wide 5, just because of the size of this 5 as well as the sub-degree counts that we then have to work with all the truncation going on in these scenarios, right? So that is not really preferred, lowering the probabilities. But the general conclusion here is that we still got some more upside to go. And if price is moving to the upside, we are going to keep an eye on the microstructures as we always do on this channel. So I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. Please check out the most recent educational video I've made about the best trading indicator you can use in my opinion, which is the CVD. And for now, thanks for watching and subscribing, and I will see you at the next one. Bye bye.